doing great things. Shout my partner up, I'm glad he on the same thing. Bills is going up, but I know how to maintain. Had to cut them off, but I ain't got to say names. Hey, plans of being the boss and I ain't gang bang. Some of my brothers did, but we be on the same thing. Solid sense of kid, respect is just the main thing. If I said it, I'm gon' do it. I ain't changed. Hey, I'm from the west side.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the I Am Courtney Chandler podcast, where we discover ourselves, we embrace it, and we unlock the potential within. I'm so happy. I'm so excited to be back for another episode with you all here on the I Am Courtney Chandler podcast. Listen, it's been a minute. It's been a lot going on, and I want to catch you up on it. So, first off, thank you for joining. But you know what I got to do. Continue and make sure that you follow. You see the ticker there below on social media. I Am Courtney Chandler Podcast on Instagram. I Am Courtney Chandler Podcast on Facebook. Like and share. And you can listen and watch us on YouTube. And also you can listen on Spotify and also on Apple Podcasts. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the podcast today, or whatever month, year, whatever time of the day you're watching or listening to this podcast. I appreciate you. I love you. And I thank you. Matter of fact, give yourself a round of applause, everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. Listen, all right. So we got a lot to get into during this show. And I want to get into it. But you know what we start off with? You know how we do this show. If you are a new listener, if you're an old listener, we always start the show off with shine a light. We shine a light on a person or a group of people who doing great things or an event that happened that was spectacular. This week we're gonna kind of take a different turn on shine a light this week, and this week we're gonna shine a light on my brother, um, Steven Twitch Boss, who is no longer with us on today, and he um passed away on, well, it will be yesterday if you're watching this or listening to this show on December 16th, or it'll be Wednesday. I'm sorry, it'll be on Wednesday if you're listening to the show on December 16th. Um, he passed away a few days ago. I'll just read you what a news article had put out. Stephen Twitch Boss, who we know as the DJ for the Ellen DeGeneres show and many other of her other shows, and also So You Think You Can Dance, died. His wife, film dancer Allison Hoker Boss, confirmed in a statement to CNN, and he was only 40 years old. He had three children. He was a native of Montgomery, Alabama. I found out he went to Lee High School in Montgomery, Alabama. So he is a native of Alabama, which is special to many of us who live here in the state of Alabama. And but the way uh, that he died is very, very sad and unfortunate. He died of suicide, and I just want to send this message out. I know using Shining Lights, we have, excitement, we have fun, we joke around. It's very positive, but this is we want to shine a light, not only on Twitch's life and his legacy, and the things that he's done as far as being a DJ, being an entertainer. I want to shine a light on mental health because I think that's so important in our community. So many people deal with it on a daily basis and don't say anything, don't talk to anybody, don't have conversations, and it's really killing our communities when we don't have discussions, when we don't admit that, yeah, we're having problems. So If you are, dealing with issues, if you are, struggling and, you feel depressed or you feel like no one cares, talk to someone, let someone know. The person that you let know might not have the answers, but maybe they can help lead you to someone who does have the answers. So that's just my 2 cents on that. No one should have to go out this world by suicide. No one should have to have that as an option. We should all, if we're all struggling with something, we should all reach out and try to, help someone and try to help find them, get some help, or if we are in those professions, we ought to, talk to them. There's many avenues to having healthy conversations. There's many avenues to getting help. You just have to be willing to say you need help. And this is a safe space here. I don't want to, you know, allow people to not be able to be and talk freely here. You are dealing with something here. This is a safe space. Let me know. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a social worker, but I do know many, and I can help you get to someone who does have those expertise. So definitely want to show my love and support to that family. Definitely want to send my condolences to Steven Twitch bosses, his wife and his children, um, and to all the people that he impacted, all the people we worked very closely with. But also, I want to, on today, bring awareness and shine a light on mental health and the importance of having discussions about mental health and why it's so important that we continue to have discussions in our community to avoid situations like this. So I want to shine a light on Mr. Stephen Twitch Boss. Um, Thank you for the things that you have done and the way you entertained us. And we're praying for your family. We're praying for his family, and want to continue to shine a light on mental health throughout our country and in our community. All right, everybody. All right, so let's jump back into the show. So it's been a minute. I think the last time we were on here, it was Thanksgiving. We were going into Thanksgiving, and we had my sister Kaylin Lyons here talking about I'm not doing this on Thanksgiving. We had a great time. We laughed, we joked, we cut up, and that's that's typical what happens when Kaylin comes on the show. We cut up, and Kayla cut up as always, and I cut up with her. So I want to thank her again for coming on the show, and sharing. And that won't be the last time she'll be on. She'll be on many more times. But yeah, let's jump into the show. But first, let me y'all see this new view? Look at it. As you watching on YouTube, I mean, just look at it. It looks good, don't it? It looks real good. Your boy, he got some upgrades here. You look at the view. Ooh, you know how they say, ooh, ooh. Yeah, give me a fault. Yeah, we looking different on here on YouTube today. We not looking so grainy. We got a new view here. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But y'all, since the last time we had an episode, I had something big happen to me. Guess what? I turned 30. Man, I turned 30, everybody. I turned 30. I turned the big 3-0. I'm you know, so excited to be 30. And I'm this in fact, that's the title of this episode. I am 30. I am 30. Let me see. I'm gonna show you. I'll bring up a little picture. Yeah, we these the holiday pictures that we took. Um, I had a major birthday party for my 30th birthday, and it was awesome. I had all my friends from Troy there. I had my friends my from church, and I had family members there. I had my fraternity brothers there. I had my it was just amazing. I had my girlfriend there. I had my coworkers there. Ah, I didn't have time today, because I was really wanting to get this episode out. I'll share some of the photos with you all on social media on the page. But we had an amazing time for the birthday party, my big 3-0 party. I danced probably I danced the whole night. And I had an amazing time. thank you everybody for coming out. Thanks everybody for who sent me some love, um, gave me a gift, put some money in our brother's cash app. What God bless you. God bless you. Who sent me texts, who sent me posts telling me happy birthday. I still on Facebook, I still have not been able to get back to everybody, but I promise you I will. I have not forgotten. There's been a lot going on since my birthday happened. Actually, it's been a whole lot going on. And then, of course, what makes it a little bit even worse, we're in the holiday season, so it's a lot of different moving pieces even with that. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. But hey, I'm turning 30 and when you turn 30, before I got to 30, it was a point in my life that 30 was fearful. I mean, it was very fearful. And I'll tell you why. Because 30, you're not 20, 20 you're, still discovering yourselves. And you know what the theme is. We discover ourselves, we embrace and unlock the potential in. I think 20 is that age where you really are you're in college or you fresh out of high school. You still trying to really discover yourself and get yourself together. And 30 is kind of like when you thinking you got it all together, you got it piece by piece, you got it brick by brick. And for me, 30 was a little bit different. And when they say 30, many people might say, well, 30 means that you're getting old. That's 10 years away from 40. When I think about that, I'm like, wow, time really does fly fast. So for me, it was kind of at one point it was kind of like a wake up call. It was like, I'm about to really be 40 out here in these streets, like real deal. About to be almost, I'm 10 years away from 40. So it's like it's almost like an eye opener. It felt like an eye opener at times where you're like, wow, I'm really getting old. Like when like you seeing your family members who were babies now, they're in high school or they're going off to college, and you're like, I remember when you were small and I was in your same shoes, and now you're in the shoes that I was once in. So I mean, it's crazy. It was for me, it was crazy to imagine that me turning the big 3-0. And uh I'll tell you another reason why I was afraid because I felt like at one point I didn't accomplish a lot of things that I felt like I should have been at the age of 30. If you would have asked me probably I think maybe like 5, 10 years ago, I would told you I would have been fully off established. I would have had this many businesses. I would have had this amount of money. I would have had all these houses in different states and stuff like that. But nah, that ain't really happened. Your boy, I'll just break it down for you from what happened from this time last year. I lost a job. I had to go through a period of time where I was without a job. I had to file for unemployment. I had to um make a career change for a few months. That that was an adjustment in itself. Then I got back into my former career. I came back home. I moved back home with my folks. After living by myself on my own, so a lot has changed. A lot, not where I had expected to be. If you like I said, you would have told me that this would be my view, I probably would have cried 10 years ago. I probably would have, been messed up. I probably would have, just went in a depression thinking that, God, that's gonna be my view 10 years. 10 years from now, this is what it's gonna look like. And I thought about this the day before my part or during the day of my party, because God was really dealing with me about certain things and dealing with turning 30. It was really he was really kind of speaking to me and dealing with me because I was at one point I'm excited, but then at another point I'm kind of like questioning like what have I done to really have an excitement about turning 30. So and I kept asking myself that question Um, what have I done to really just have that type of excitement? So he had to remind me, okay, Courtney, you graduated from college in that time span. You were fortunate enough to actually get in your career, and you're still in your career. You worked in Dothan, Shreveport, Montgomery, and then in Birmingham, where you wanted to be. Then another thing he remind me of is he told me who has been able not many people have been able to start and continue podcasts during a pandemic. I started a podcast, started 2 podcasts. Well, you could say a podcast and a show, during a pandemic. I am Courtney Chandler, Young, Bold, and Free with my sister Ashley Harvey, and then also I started, CNT Talking Tigers, or Talking Football is what we do with my main man, Tony Milford. So, I started all 3 of these shows during the pandemic. You have to remind me, you know, you're on the track that I have set for you. You're on the path that I'm calling you to do. He also did remind me, you're you're progressing in the church. You accomplish things in the church. Like this year alone, I got to work, be a part of AIM, being working in media at AIM, and then also I had the opportunity to work media with the our biggest convention, our Holy Convocation. Then I got a promotion in my state jurisdiction as a state media director, and he had to remind me of all these things that you've accomplished a lot, and I can probably, as I think more about it, it's probably even more on that list. But he told me you accomplished a lot, so why are you doubting and questioning where you are? But where you are is not. It's where many people want to be. And I say, God, you're right. You're right. And I, immediately turned and said, I'm right where God wants me to be at the age of 30. I, you know, may not be exactly where I want to be. I may not exactly be um how I planned it out to be, but I'm right where God wants me to be at this age. And I believe that at this age, He's even pushing me more to do the things that He's calling me to do. A role model of mine, and you all probably have heard me talk about him, Steve Harvey, someone who I look up to a lot. He said if he could redo it, he would have worked really hard in his 20s, and then by the 30s, he would have had it, all together. And I was thinking that too, like, man, by 30, I'm gonna have it all together. It's gonna be established. Well, it's not exactly going as planned, but I'm not in a bad space. I'm progressing, I'm growing, I'm developing each and every day, and I'm learning each and every day. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the growth, thankful for the development. I'm thankful for where I'm at right now because many people are not even where I'm at and want to be here. So I'm thankful for just this opportunity to be where I'm at right now. And 30, if you thought 20 was something, 30 about to be amazing. So what does 30 mean to me? So 30 means a couple things. 30, number one, means trusting God more. I want to go in this season of this decade of trusting God completely, having faith in Him completely about situations. I think 20, and I can just speak for myself, 20, sometimes I would be in a place where I would have faith or I would, trust God. And then there would be situations where I didn't necessarily understand it. But I believe in this season of my life, I have to totally trust God in order to be where He wants to take me. And I have to have a crazy faith mentality that, you know, whatever obstacle may come in my way, that hey, God got me. It's not when, or it's not, in my time, but it's on his time. And if I request it, I know it's gonna happen. But I gotta have trust in God to believe that He's gonna work it out and not be wavering in my faith and not be, doubting God because there has been times where I have doubted God. Is it gonna come to fruition? Is it gonna really happen? So I'm number one, and 30 means trusting God. Number two, transforming my mind. You can't have the same mindset in 20 going into 30. I can't have a mindset of where in 20s, and I'm just speaking for me. I don't know if you was 20s wanted to go out and party, having that mindset in 30 when I have more responsibilities, I have more things on my plate, I have a vision, I have a business, I have a podcast, I have a career. I can't have a 20 mindset living in 30. I have to transform my mind. Not saying that I've done these things, you know, recently, but I can't go back to what 20 was. I can't relive those days. I have to transform my mind and move forward to 30, the which is a good thing. Transforming your mind is never a bad thing. It's never, a negative thing. It's a good thing. When you want to transform, you want to be better. So I have to have transform my mind into, something different, have a different viewpoint on different things. And a lot of times transforming your mind not necessarily may mean habits. It might necessarily be having a different viewpoint on different things that happen in the world. It might be, having different viewpoints on situations that you might have did differently in 20, but when you're 30 or when you get to a certain age, you think about it's like, "Mate, I wouldn't have did that." And there's been a couple instances I thought about even since I turned 30 that I said I would have maybe did that differently if this is I was in that same predicament now. That's just a part of the transforming mind. I promise you all, I've had several several thoughts that came in my mind. It was like 20-year-old Courtney would have handled it that way, but 30-year-old Courtney would have handled that totally different. And it just comes with wisdom and understanding and growth and development. That's just really what it all boils down to. So transforming my mind, that's another thing that 30 means to me when I'm taking it to 30. Living without limits. I think for me, and I can only speak for me, there were times where I felt that I had to live with certain limits. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain limits that you should do. You should set boundaries, but I felt like at many times that I was too afraid to speak out, or too afraid to go after something. And when I did it, I end up, either being left behind. I end up, being walked over. I end up being not heard, and I don't want to live 30 like I live in areas in my 20s where those situations haven't happened. I want to go after the things and the goals and the visions and go after them without limits, go after them without fear, go after them without having to worry about what people say or how people feel, because people sometimes they'll discourage you because they don't have confidence in themselves to do it, and you have confidence yourself to do it. So they'll discourage you, tell you that you can't do it because they don't have the confidence to believe that they can do it. So that was the whole word of this preach, Jesus. Okay, that's I was going. I felt like I was about to preach, preach, preach for real. But let me. But I want to live 30 without limits and without limitations. And I want to go after. The theme of this show is discovering yourself, embracing it, and unlocking the potential within. So why live with limits? while I unlock the potential within and go after what God has called me to do. Go after the visions that I've written down. Write the vision, make it plain. Go after it. Go after it and without limits. Go after it without doubt. Go after it without fear. All fear is false evidence appearing real, which we should never live in fear. So going after it, I'm living 30 without any limits. And I'm going after it and I'm going after it hard. So, and lastly, 30 means setting boundaries. I could go on and on and on and on and on about boundaries because in 20, if you would ask me to do something, I would find a way to do it. I would put my stuff on the back burner sometimes just to do your stuff. And a lot of time, and what I would notice was when I needed something done, a lot of times people wouldn't do the same thing for me. They would say, "Hey, I'm busy," or "I'm doing something this evening," or I got a date." But I would cancel events. I would cancel dates. I would cancel time with family just to help others or just to, make sure, someone is good. And not really setting boundaries and like, "Hey, I got something going on. I can't do it this time." Or it's gonna have to wait. 30, I'm telling all y'all no. I don't care if I got something going on and y'all send me something or tell me that I need to have something in, especially you get to me late. I'm telling you no. I'm telling you a flat no, and I'm not gonna feel sorry about it. I'm telling you no, I can't do it. If I have plans and you want to have a meeting, or if you want me to do something and I already got plans and set, you better say, "Hey, can you do it later on in the week, cause or the next day? Cause I'm not gonna stop to do something for you when I already have plans, I already have an agenda set." I'm putting boundaries in place, and that was a big thing for me. Setting boundaries, making sure people don't always walk over you and say, "Oh, we know Courtney gonna do it. We always know." No, Courtney ain't gonna always do it this time. Courtney gonna tell you no, and Courtney not gonna cry and call you back and say, "Okay, I can do it." No, you might want to find somebody else because Courtney got plans. So I'm putting boundaries in place. So just know if I have something planned, and I love you, I do. If I have something planned or I got something going on and you hit me with "Oh, Courtney, can you help me at the last minute?" Or "Courtney, I need you to do this for me. Um, at so and so, can you come to this? Can you do this?" I'm gonna hit you with the flat out no, 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 no. So that wraps it up. So what 30 means to me is trusting God, transforming my mind, living without limits, and setting boundaries. Hey, this episode is brought to you by New, and I just want to leave this with you. Why be old when you can be new and always reinvent yourself? So 30, I am reinventing myself and living brand new. Listen, y'all, I want to thank y'all for coming on to the show. Listen, I know it's been a minute, but I'm so happy to be back. And this is not the end of the season. We still got, I believe this, I want to say this episode 8. I kind of lost count. This season's been a little weird. I know for many of us because it's kind of been scattered episodes here and there, but we're going to get back to a consistent basis next season. I promise you that. So thank you all for listening and watching on YouTube, and also listening on Spotify and also on Apple Podcasts. You can also continue to follow on IG and Facebook. I am Courtney Chandler Podcast. I am Courtney Chandler Podcast on both avenues. And hey, like always, you know what we do. Continue to discover yourself, embrace it, and unlock the potential within. Until then, you all be blessed, be safe. I love y'all. And this is the I Am Courtney Chandler Podcast.